Twins, it's Taco Tuesday. Well, it's a day late because I lost my voice. But let's talk about the Twins. This is Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what do you say? Thanks for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Also on YouTube, and we're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And as a quick reminder, if you are active in the comments, we love to hear from you on YouTube. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening. If you like the show, tell your friends. If you don't, tell me, and I can make it better. Just let me know what has to be done. I did not have a voice enough to record a show last night. I had actually done an hour-long episode elsewhere, so we're playing catch up today. But if you have questions you'd like answered on the show, just hit me up, Twitter, DMs, wherever, at Locked On Twins, at Brandon_Warne. Also, too, Locked On Twins breathless post-game minutes after every game as soon as we can. We'll do some pre-games too, but only if there's enough interest. Now, today's show is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. The Twins play the Astros at Minute Maid Park on Wednesday. It's the series finale starting at 7:10 p.m. It's our friend Louis Varland facing Hunter Brown. Brown faced the Twins in his second start of the season and beat them at Target Field early on. So Twins out for a little bit of revenge. We'll see if they can find it. But you can catch every pitch of the Twins' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Twins. So we're just diving right into your questions. You guys had some absolutely great ones. We're going to do Taco Tuesday, but a day late, leftovers, if you will. Byron Buxton Apologist asks, was Joe Ryan's velocity down a tick today? He watched for a while and it seemed like his fastball was more 91 than it was 92, 93. So I pulled up Baseball Savant, and they have Joe Ryan averaging 92.3. His average for the year is 92.5. So less than, basically 0.2 down. Average, his sweeper was up 0.2, splitter down 0.1. So pretty much right in line with where he's been. It's certainly possible that his max velocity was down, because 93.9 for a max velocity, I'm not sure about that. But, if his max was down, he managed to keep his minimum up, which makes the average come out to pretty much the same. So to me, the bigger question is that spin rate, is down a little bit, but again, not meaningfully, 32 RPM, which is virtually nothing. So he was basically who he's been all season long. Splitter not breaking quite as much, sweeper not breaking quite as much, but pretty standard. I think mostly it came down to, he's a fastball heavy guy, and the Astros can hit fastballs. So there's going to be nights where it's not great. There's going to be nights where it's going to be a struggle. And again, too, his season ERA is still under 3. So it's not as though he's struggled that much this season at all. So there's going to be hiccups. Giving up a homer to Chas McCormick certainly isn't ideal. Alex Bregman's at least understandable. But yeah, it was, it was interesting. Let's just say he was not the all caps Joe Ryan that we've been accustomed to this season, but the velocity for the most part was good. Next comment or question, Jody Carley says, unfortunately, it was absolutely unsurprising that we couldn't score more. So yeah, 5-1 loss in the second game of the series against the Astros. The Astros have actually been really good this month. I want to say they're 17-9, looking for an 18-win month in the finale here. It's June tomorrow. It's hard to believe. But Twins, again, fall 5-1, same as it ever was, 1 for 8. with runners in scoring position, 9 runners left on base. I had actually pulled the numbers the other day for runners left on base, and the Twins were in the middle of the pack, which I think would surprise a lot of people because every time you leave the bases loaded, that's a big number no matter what, and the Twins have been absolutely abysmal with the bases loaded, but they were averaging right around 7 left on per game, which, again, league average is right around 7. So as frustrating as it seems, that's just kind of how it goes. Brandon Bielak's changeup was absolutely impossible for the Twins to track down. If we pull him up here again on StatCast Baseball Savant, he threw his changeup 37 of 91 pitches, so 41% of the time, and he got 24 swings, so it was getting swung at very, very consistently with 11 swings and misses. So he had 14 swings and misses on the night, 2 on his curveball, which he only threw 9 times, 1 on his fastball, or his sinker, I guess, the preferred fastball that he throws, 1 whiff on 9 swings, and sinkers aren't really swing and miss pitches, but 11 swings and swinging and miss whiffs, whatever you want to call it, 46% whiff rate, which is huge. And I don't know if it was in zone, out zone. I saw a few people talking about how they were chasing it out of the zone, and I kind of think that's what I saw as well. I was watching with the sound off again because I was busy doing a podcast, but it just kind of adds to the mounting frustration with this offense that a lot of fans are justifiably feeling right now because, again, the offense can't seem to get out of its own way, which is not what we all expected. I think it's fair to say. Dylan Ellsworth says watching this offense is physically painful. And, I mean, who's going to argue with that? And, again, it comes down to Carlos Correa and Byron Buxton batting third and fourth. The higher of the two is batting .221. The higher of the two has a .324 on base, and the higher of the two has a .448 slugging, which is pretty good, but that's Buck. Correa still really languishing behind. He's hitting .211 with a .303 on base, .378 slugging. And when that's your 3-4, and as we've noted before, their 1-2-3 has been just abysmal this season, it's going to drag the rest of the offense down. Now, I'm not sure what I would do to change that. I've seen a lot of people say push Correa down in the order, push Buxton down in the order. And I think I could wrap my head around that now with some guys swinging it a little better. I wouldn't be opposed to Alex Kirilloff moving up, Royce Lewis, even as early as it is in his return, moving him up. And we'll see if he's in the lineup in this one. I haven't seen a lineup yet for the finale, but they're probably going to be careful with having him play every single day too. And so, we'll see what happens. But I agree. Seeing this offense, 11 base runners, 6 hits, 5 walks, and 1 run. Just, you almost get bored with it. And not even almost, you definitely get bored with it. And this is not an Astros team that's unbeatable. Granted, they've had a really nice month, and they're 32-22. I mean, they're 10 games over 500 in a year where, outside of the very best teams, a lot of teams are right around 500. So they're solid. They're very, very good, but the Twins are hanging with them. It's just frustrating that the offense has not been able to do more. Let's talk quick about FanDuel. Make sure we have all of our buttons pushed here. So NBA playoffs, we're coming up on the finals. It's Heat and Nuggets. I actually saw a funny joke. It was parents making lunch for their kids, and then the handshake meme, the NBA finals, and it was Heat Nuggets. So parents heating up chicken nuggets for a meal. But yeah, if you are a new customer, you can get a no sweat first bet up to $2,500. That's right. So that's we've been talking about 1,000. This is $2,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. So they have great promotions. The app is safe and secure. You don't have to worry about your money, and you get paid right away. Like, where else are you going to make money that you get paid right away? There's no better place to bet all the playoff action than America's #1 sportsbook. So whether you like the Heat, the Nuggets, or any other action that's going on right now, we're coming up on some big hockey stuff. MLB is in the thick of it. Whatever you like to bet on, they've got it for you. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and get a no sweat first bet up to $2,500. Right? I mean, $2,500. It was $1,000 before. This is huge. You got to get in on this. But that's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, Twins wrapping up the Astros series. It's going to be Louis Varland against Hunter Brown. Again, as we said, Twins saw Hunter Brown earlier this season at Target Field, hard-throwing righty, really good stuff, a well-regarded prospect. And you can catch not only tonight's first pitch, 7:10 p.m. at Minute Maid Park, but every pitch of the Twins' hometown broadcast with Corey and Danny with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Twins if you use the app, or if you have, in your car, SiriusXM, you can usually do a couple button search and find it real easy. And we have a commercial on there that's telling you about us, and you're already listening to us. So hopefully you heard it and decided to listen, and we appreciate you for that. We're into the bullpen here, though, with the second segment, and thanks for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day. If you're an everydayer, make sure to check back a little later. We're going to have a series wrap of the Astros series. I don't know if we'll get to talk to Locked On Astros or not, but we're going to see if we can scratch that out. But back to your questions here, as we're having a Taco Tuesday leftover edition, again, because I lost my voice yesterday and could not speak. Our friend Anthony, Crimson Gopher, says Correa and Buxton are turning into black holes in the middle of the order. They aren't doing anything except striking out and hitting into double plays. Going to be 5 straight series losses. Well, I don't disagree that they're black holes in the middle of the order, no matter what I saw for an article today that said Carlos Correa is turning a corner. I mean, he's playing better in May, but it's hard to play any worse than he did in April. I don't know about 5 straight series losses. I think the team has a chance in this one. I mean, Hunter Brown's good. If Louis Varland can keep the ball in the ballpark, which is a challenge with the Crawford boxes especially, and Houston plays pretty small. And part of that, too, is their offense is usually pretty good. I mean, Yordan Alvarez, having Altuve back is huge for them. But I don't know. I know I said before you could consider Kirilloff and Lewis in the 2-3, 3-4 spots in this order. But really, to me, it doesn't matter where you have Correa and Buxton. They have to hit no matter where they are for your offense to not be basically a sinkhole. And right now they're not doing that. And so it is what it is. I still think they have a decent chance here against the Astros in the finale. Guardians come into town for, I want to say it's 4 at Target Field starting on, maybe it's Thursday. Yeah, 4 starting Thursday. Pablo Lopez against Tanner Bibby. Guardians wrapping it up with the Orioles as we speak. Tough run, too, for the AL Central. Tigers not playing very well. White Sox got absolutely pasted on Wednesday by Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout and friends with the Angels. So, yeah, we'll see if the Guardians come in hungry. 4 games. Guardians are probably going to be down either 3 or 4 games coming in. So it could be a pretty good series. But, yeah, no matter where you have back to Buxton and Correa, no matter where you have them in the lineup, you can't have them be black holes no matter what. So I don't know how much does it cushion the blow that they hit 5th or 6th? Probably not really all that much. With that said, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to moving the guys down. I don't know how much of an effect it will have. Our good friend Josiah says, do you think in hindsight it was a mistake not promoting Matt Borgschulte to hitting coach at the major league level? And I've actually, we'll pull up his information here because I want to make sure we have it. He is coaching with the Orioles right now. And, the Orioles are hitting more than the Twins are, which, is going to get people talking. But at the same time, again, I don't know what the role of the hitting coach is so much as far as execution as it is, the mental part of hitting. Now, with that said, I think you can make a pretty good case that they're not processing at bats and plate appearances the way you should mentally. And, a lot of that falls on them, but you need, and I actually asked Joe Vavra this back in like 2011. A large part of the job of the hitting coach is that you're almost like a hitter psychiatrist or a hitter therapist. When guys are going through things, you help them out through that. And, we've seen from Jose Miranda just absolutely flatlining up here and finally had his first extra base hit down at AAA on Wednesday here. I think he hit a homer, but otherwise was hitting like a $177 with no extra base hits over a pretty good sample size. It's hard for me to say it was a mistake not to go with him, just because there's a lot of things I don't know about Borg Schulte and about David Popkins for that matter. But I don't think it's an unfair question to ask when, we're seeing the results that we're seeing from Twins hitters right now. So I think it's fair to say it is very possibly a mistake. I'm not going to stake my claim on it. I'm not going to plant my flag on it. But yeah, I think it's certainly possible. Our friend Alan Hess says, the Tigers lost, so I'm choosing not to be annoyed until after the rubber game. Rubber game as in Twins, Astros this evening. Tigers drop one to Texas. They go and win on Wednesday, so they're making some headway. Tight one too, 3-2. The Tigers are going through a lot right now. Eduardo Rodriguez with the weird pulley injury to his finger, which we saw with Randy Dobnak and Taylor Rogers, both of whom had missed significant time with it. Also worth noting, have not been quite the same since. It's like a mountain climber injury. And so, Rodriguez is basically the best thing the Tigers had going / one of the only things they had going pitching wise in their rotation. Alex Faedo has had his moments, but it's Ed Rodriguez and, kind of everybody else is grouped together. So I'll be curious to see how that goes. But yeah, Twins rubber game with the Astros. I don't buy into these Tigers. I just don't. I can't help it. They gave Texas a run. We're watching the Guardians and Orioles right now. Orioles, they're kind of jockeying back and forth. Obviously, you're not listening to this live, but good game there. And then, the White Sox got absolutely crushed. Lance Lynn giving up about quarter mile worth of bombs to Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. Not a good day for them. So, yeah, it's hard for me not to be annoyed on a day-to-day basis just because you expect so much more from this team. But also, it's a long burn. It's a long haul. As much as I know people don't care about this, the Twins have 72.7% chance to win the division, 73.4% to make the playoffs, according to FanGraphs. And to me, that basically shows that also, too, the geekier publications, and I say that endearingly, are not buying into the Tigers this year either. So, they say that the White Sox, who are 6 games back and about to be 12 games under 500, have about as good a shot, which says a lot to me. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I still like this Twins team, maybe not as much as I did before, but I'm choosing to be less annoyed than I might be otherwise. All right, we are coming down the stretch. We are in the 7th inning stretch, and we got a few more questions to get to on Taco Tuesday, pushed back a day due to me not having a voice last night. And thanks for making us your first listen every day. If you're an everydayer, make sure to check back. We'll have full breathless coverage of this Astros series. We'll get ready for the Guardians for 4 here coming up over the weekend at home. Should be a fun one. Obviously very spirited when the Twins and Guardians square off. And who knows, maybe Emilio Pagan won't be available, which I'm sure will make Twins fans breathe a sigh of relief and Guardians fans run screaming into the night. Twins Astros, though, first at Minute Maid Park on Wednesday, 7:10 p.m. first pitch. It's Varland, it's Brown, and you can catch every pitch of the Twins' hometown broadcast every single night with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just make sure you search Twins. All right, let's come down the final stretch here with the last few questions that you guys submitted. Again, thank you so much for everything you guys do. You guys are the reason this show can even exist. And it's immensely appreciated. Scott Wessels wants to know, or actually he says, I'm never never the guy in favor of firing someone midseason, but maybe a new voice for a hitting coach would be a spark. So many games where the Twins score very few runs and look lifeless. They've wasted so much great starting pitching, not including Tuesday night, which, it was so-so. I mean, the Twins, Cole Sands looked good, and Giovanni Moran got 2 outs on 1 pitch, which, again, I said in the post game last night, that's good work if you can get it. We haven't – the problem is the teams that fire coaches mid-season, there's so few of them that it's hard to get a feel for if a certain team is or isn't of that ilk. We've seen other teams do it, but we haven't really seen the Twins do it. Really, the in-season movement that we've seen was Wes Johnson leaving last year and Pete Mackey taking over as pitching coach. Certainly would have been nice to know Wes was leaving and they maybe could have kept Jeremy Hefner around, but I digress. But again, we haven't seen the Twins fire a coach in season under this front office. And I don't really know, the pitching coaches and everything. It's been a pretty stable role. Dick Such, Rick Anderson, Neil Allen, Garvin Alston. They didn't really, even in bad pitching years, they didn't can anybody midseason. So to me, probably not. But again, too, if you want to make a statement, that's the way to do it. Again, it comes back to you can't fire all the hitters. So do you fire the hitting coach? I would say don't rule it out. I don't think it's likely, but honestly, again, can't rule it out. Jordan Opp says the same thing, though. Maybe the hitting coach needs to be changed. Maybe. I don't want to be dismissive. I know I'm the gatekeeper, but I don't want to be dismissive of the idea that making a change there could help. I just don't know. Nick Schmidt says, simple question with a non-simple answer. What do the Twins need to get the bats going? And honestly, it's a cop-out, but keep on keeping on. I don't think you change things up too much. I mean, again, maybe you drop a couple guys in the order just to get them going, change of pace, change of scenery. But beyond that, unless you can bring back Matt Wallner, who has taken his hot streak down to St. Paul, there's not a lot there other than just kind of keep putting that work in and hope that it comes around. And, maybe you got to face a team with less than stellar pitching for that to happen, but that's not coming up here with Cleveland coming to town. And then the Twins have Monday the 5th off, and then it's Tampa Bay and then Toronto. So, no rest for the weary there. You just got to keep swinging it. And, And then finally, Henry, Twins connoisseur, says the lineup is bad, the umps are bad, sky is blue, et cetera, et cetera. So there was an interesting piece in The Athletic on Tuesday that Aaron Gleeman wrote about how, in general, the umpiring has kind of evened out for the Twins. And I think it's easy for us to have confirmation bias that, the umps are out to get the Twins because this or because that, because we see a lot of games that have hinged on bad calls. And situationally, I think I feel and see what fans are saying, but it's really hard to, in the opposite, kind of account for in your mind when the Twins benefit from those calls. And what I mean by that is I can't even remember an instance, and they've happened. They for sure happened. Pitches that were off the plate that the Twins have gotten called for them to get out of a jam. Again, I know they've happened. Statistically, it's a certainty just based on how many games they had played. But the fact that Gleeman, through analysis, found, I think it was with Inside Edge, that they've basically been, it was like plus or minus 0.02 runs or something. Like, it was basically identical. So as much as it's frustrating, you can't really point to the umpires. And again, you have to take advantage of situations in front of you. Haven't done it with bases loaded. They've made big errors in big spots. They've had bullpen issues with, Griffin Jack's having 6 losses. Jorge Lopez giving up a few big homers. I still believe in both of those guys talent-wise, but they just haven't executed. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see where they go from here. But it is hard not to be frustrated by this crew of umpires that have seemed to kind of have it out for the Twins. All right, that's all we got for you. It's a wrap for this episode of Locked On Twins. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure you follow at Locked On Twins, at Brandon_Warne. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you're listening to or watching your show. Thumbs up on YouTube goes a long way. Hit that subscribe button too. That also helps. But otherwise, this is Brandon Warne signing off saying thank you so much. And don't forget to stop by tomorrow.